Welcome to episode 11 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J, joined by my co-host sometimes, Dr. Games 101.
Hi there, people. Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. It's just, the reason I said sometimes is because I had to call Dr. Games 101 at home to let him know that we were late for starting the podcast. The first thing he answers when I call him on the phone is, "Oh shit." I could just imagine you being like on the phone, like a boss calling you, and like you just slept past your alarm, and like a boss calling you, and
Yeah.
and he's like Mr. and he's like Charles, and you go, "Oh shit."
Uh, yeah, sorry about that, guys. That's what happens when you try to relax as possible before the school year starts again. Because I pretty much finished with my first year of my online university. So starting on Monday, I go back to school. So try to rest as much as possible and take as much free time as possible before everything gets back to gear again. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, you never played Total Extreme Wrestling 2005, which I am interested to see how you would book the show and what year you would want to start off in, since you can start in a number of years, from the Hogan era to the post-internet era. But anyway, so the topics we have, not too many, so this might be a short podcast on the anyway. But let's talk about one of the biggest gaming fails today, Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah, it's a disaster right now. I'm hearing that the PlayStation Store, delisted the Cyberpunk off their websites and console servers, things of that matter. While Xbox Live, they're still selling it for some strange reason as of last week.
Yes. And also, did you hear about save files? I'm guessing this is on the PC version, but it might, if your save file got too large, it got corrupted and deleted.
Like, cause you do so many crafting modifications
Crafting,
with the
looting. Yeah, if you did that, if that happened, if that happened and you got too many items from that, your file was gone. Along with the 20, 30, 40, however many hours you put into it. Because the Cyberpunk 2077 is not like a Grand Theft Auto 3 or a Vice City game that just takes a number of hours, or even like a Saints Row game. It takes many, many more hours, probably when like Grand Theft Auto 5 would take.
Well, yeah, I've been at it for like good 5 years trying to beat the game because I'm kind of stuck in the game where I have to look for missions and join freaks and geeks and shit like that.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Grand Theft Auto 5. I actually skipped most of the freaks and geeks missions.
Well, I couldn't find anything else to do because Michael didn't have the missions at the FIB. Trevor did only have like missions with the freaks and geeks, and Franklin. Now I'm not sure much about him, but he's just doing shit at his house or whatever randomness I get from him. So.
Well, I mean, did you? I don't want to spoil. Well, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out years ago, so I don't mind spoiling the ending. Did you get to the mission where Franklin had to choose between Trevor, Michael, or both of them?
Not sure.
Not yet. What happens is Franklin gets a call from the CIA, and you have to choose. Are you going to kill Michael? Are you going to kill Trevor? Or are you going to take on the entire FBI by not killing either of them?
Kill the FBI. That's my decision.
That would probably make the game harder, but I'm saying that was the last mission.
Really?
I chose to kill Trevor because he was out of control.
Right.
And that was the original part of the deal. You and Michael were just supposed to be keeping Trevor at bay until the right time.
Mm-hmm.
But that you never encountered that mission?
Not yet. It's been like 5 years now. I got the game back in 2013 on the Xbox 360, and then I once until I got the Xbox One edition, I restarted the whole game all over again, and
Okay.
now I'm up to the part where Michael meets his therapist, and the therapist says, "I'm going to be famous."
Huh, I don't remember that, but unlike other Grand Theft Autos, I only played the story in 5 once. But
Right.
the thing is, the best thing I could guess without seeing your game is one person. If you didn't do a mission as someone, you might have to do it as someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if you change to Franklin, he's always at his house. Yeah, you have to go out and find a mission because there might be some missions that you can that you have to do as someone before you could do missions as other people. I know the heist works that way. Like if you pick, how many of the heists did you do? Do you remember?
I usually do the heist, start the heist either with Trevor or Michael. Well, Franklin's usually
Right, but
just like,
but there was like 6 in the actual game. How many did you already complete?
I don't remember. It's been so many years now.
Okay,
I
because
usually play like
the
once every
second.
blue moon to play for a few minutes, and I'll stop after that.
Oh, okay. Because the second heist, you get a choice if you want to steal something offshore or on the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
But if you choose to steal something offshore, you have to complete the plane school as Michael. If you choose to steal off the mainland, you don't have to complete the flight school as anybody.
Hmm. Interesting.
So you might be missing a requirement, or you just have to do a mission as someone else that you just missed.
Yeah.
But anyway, Cyberpunk 2077. Imagine Grand Theft Auto 5. You get so far, you get maybe like through 3 of the 6 heists in the actual game, and then your file just got deleted one day.
Hmm.
That's what Cyberpunk 2077
I see.
is like, yeah. And CD Projekt Red actually being sued by investors. Investors are saying that they were led a false bill of goods when about the progress of Cyberpunk 2077 in development. Did you hear about that?
Not much about that part. I heard there's like lawsuits though with certain agencies or shareholders. That's about it. That's
Yeah,
all I can think of.
investors, shareholders, basically they said they were lied to because when they asked about the progress of Cyberpunk 2077, hey, do you think you're going to make the current release date? Is it going to be ready? CD Projekt Red kept going, yeah, there's not going to be any problems. And Cyberpunk 2077 turned out to be the shit show that it is.
A blockbuster of a shit show.
Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, I do hope that this lawsuit goes somewhere, because I've stated it on this podcast before. I am sick and tired of these games coming out half done or less, and the developers going, "We'll just patch it later."
Well, that's until you disembody the trust of your gamers like you and I are, and see the bullshit it is, and they tell us to wait a few months for a better patch or better update, then that's it. You lost the trust. I can get it back anytime soon.
Well, that's what Grand Theft Auto 5 did. If you remember correctly, in 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5 was supposed to be released in April of 2013, and I forget how close to release it was, but it was really close. They pushed it all the way back to September 2013.
I don't remember that part, but okay.
Yep, I remember that because I was anticipating the game in 2012, and then really close to the release of 2013. All of a sudden, I heard that it was pushed back to September. I was like, pushed back 6 months? I thought to myself, damn, it's going to be harder to wait 6 more months for this game. But in the end, Grand Theft Auto 5 turned out to be a quality game.
Yeah. Very good game, I have to say, GTA 5. Even though I didn't finish it in time before for the next GTA 6. But the online GTA is much better because anything's like unpredictable. Because I remember I played this mode where everyone had to do an obstacle course, and if you get there in time at the end of the obstacle course, you get a gun to shoot each other and things like that. That was a good experience last time I checked. That was like back in 2014.
Yeah, I never played the online, but that's also because I got Grand Theft Auto 5 on release day,
right,
in September. But then Rockstar said the online multiplayer is not going to be ready till October of 2013.
Right.
And no, but like I said, at least they took the time to make the game right. It turned out to be good. And I also researched it. It cost anywhere between 137 to 250 million dollars to make Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh wow. And it's worth it too because I heard within 2 days they made about $800 million.
No, they made $800 million on release day.
Oh yeah, so say within 2 days, pretty much.
And they made $1 billion in just 3 days.
Oh, nice. All right.
So, but then again, like when Darkness the Curse was with us, he said that Rockstar obviously has to pay their staff. They have to keep their building lights on. They have to keep.
Of course, I'm trying to say is that I've read it in my magazine, a Game Informer, or at least an online source, says in 2 days. Remember, I said 2 days of $800 million they made. So.
Yeah, people were when the game first came out, people were saying that was the opening day figure.
Right.
But but again, when Darkness the Curse was with us, he said, that they got operational costs that are probably astronomical as well.
Oh yeah.
So then, instead of making say $750 million in profit after the game, that probably doesn't last too long.
Mm-hmm.
Once you pay employees, once you pay, once
janitor.
you pay whatever your development costs are and your company costs are.
Don't forget the janitor who has to clean up after them.
Yep.
Because I have like.
I bet you.
Yeah.
I bet you they probably got a private janitor, or they probably have like a cleaning service come in every so often.
Yeah, for all that candy wrappers and potato chip bags and fucking cigarette leftovers in the lounge and shit.
Just imagine like a Rockstar conference room.
Yes.
You peek in there after a conference is over. You see like notepads strewn all about, writing utensils just all over the table.
Mm-hmm.
Probably cigarette ashtrays filled to the brim with cigarette ashes.
Oh yes.
But again, Grand Theft Auto 5 was made with care. Cyberpunk 2077 was not.
Oh yeah.
And I just hope that this them being sued by investors and shareholders is going to be the turnaround. So no more games are getting released in a broken state, with developers saying we can patch it later. Do you think that will happen? That this could be the turnaround, or do you think other companies are still gonna do things the normal way, status quo?
And not anytime soon. It's not going to go back to normalcy like it once was 15 years ago. Because back 15 years ago, sure we did have DLC or we had expansion packs, things of that matter. But those were after the completed game, and it's optional to play these expansion packs. So that was different back then. Now it's like as of 2015, and ever since then, every release game usually falters within a matter of hours after release, or days even.
Well, No. My question was, do you think do you think companies that usually say, "Oh, we'll patch it later," are going to continue to release their games unfinished, or do you think
I,
this lawsuit to CD Projekt Red is going to make developers wake up and realize, hey, this can happen to them if they don't finish their game before?
yeah, that's what I was trying to explain in a certain way that it can happen at any given time that a release of a game can be patched up later. Um, I think it's more of a innuendo of sorts of like every game that coming out for the last 5 years has been a disaster. So it's kind of like, what to expect. He's gonna expect garbage in, garbage out now. That's what I see it as.
Well, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't garbage on its release day.
You got a point, but it was their expansion, their online expansion has been tarnished with. Because I remember correctly, back during when Red Dead Redemption Online appeared, only a certain few people attended or joined the servers of that particular matter or that particular
You're talking
expansion.
about you're talking about the first Red Dead Redemption?
No, the second Red Dead Redemption too.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I tried the online of Red Dead Redemption 2. I really didn't find it interesting.
Okay.
But like I played the first Red Dead Redemption online because they had an online multiplayer, and that
Right.
was a lot of fun. They had like team deathmatch, they had Gold Rush, and that was fun to play online. But um, Red Dead Redemption 2, I wanted to get into it once I beat the main game, but it's just something. It's like I don't want to play this.
Right.
I'm not saying the online mode was flawed or anything. It's just not something that grabbed my attention like the story did.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially in the beginning when I saw the first 10 minutes of gameplay on Dashi XP's Dashi Games YouTube channel back about
Yeah.
last year or two, and the way that they put this the actors, the voice acting, is like kind of weird because like, we will stay together, we will survive, we will thrive. Like it sounds like some sort of like a pep rally speech of sorts. I like this in the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2. My goodness.
Red Dead Redemption Pep Rally Edition.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of it's just many companies are releasing games that are have no business being released. WWE 2K20 was another one. Um, and I'm just hoping that this lawsuit will be what changes the course of that developers are taking when they have a project that's not going to be ready to be released on a release date.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, next, you played Crash Bandicoot, right?
I just bought the trilogy edition back earlier last year.
Right. Did you ever play the original Crash Bandicoot on original PlayStation though?
Yes, I have with my friend from the church back like 20 years ago.
And okay, did you ever beat it or no?
Oh no, I don't remember it being that. It was just playing it for a few minutes.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have it
What
to
would
play
you like to
yourself
work
at
on
home.
today?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what you might not know is that there was actually a hidden level in Crash Bandicoot called Stormy Ascent. It was a game. It was a level that you could not reach on the original PlayStation game unless you had a PlayStation Game Shark.
Oh, okay. What about that?
But
What about that level that was new to the Crash Bandicoot trilogy?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
Um, Stormy Ascent was basically for people who made it further in the game. Stormy Ascent was basically a harder version of the level Slippery Climb.
Mm.
But on PlayStation, they put it behind a GameShark code, and you could not reach Stormy Ascent on the original PlayStation unless you had the GameShark. When they released the trilogy on PS4 and Xbox One, they included Stormy Ascent as downloadable content.
Okay.
So it's the first time people are actually getting that trilogy, unless I don't know anyone who had a PlayStation GameShark growing up. I had the GameShark for Nintendo 64, and even then, games that were released like 2 years later wouldn't even work with my GameShark.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess.
I have Game Shark for a PS1 and at one point PS2.
Okay, but the thing is, my GameShark with the N64, it would work on early games like it worked on WWF Warzone, WCW, NWO Revenge, but like by the time WWF No Mercy came out, my GameShark wouldn't work with those games.
Definitely.
It was it was weird. I think the GameShark had to be updated, and but I'm not sure how to update it. So, but the thing is, anyway, I didn't know anyone growing up who had a PlayStation GameShark at
I
the
was one
time.
of them. I could have sworn I mentioned to you I had Game Shark for PS1.
You never know. You never told me that.
Oh wow. Probably because of the fact that I didn't like it as much. It wasn't really the way out to play games. It was like basically like hacking or modding your console in a sense. That's why I didn't believe it at the time. Still there to this
Okay,
day.
go on.
I was just saying the fact that, as of this moment, the younger gamers who are under 21 that ever experienced the console experience of PS1 or the PS2 or even N64 or GameCube properly, unless they have older brothers or sisters who have the console who let them play the system for a while. But that's about it, really. If you don't have that connection or that available resource, you're not going to get that. Unless you're going to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for a brand new console.
Right. Well, anyway, so the first time most people are going to be able to that they played Stormy Ascent was on this Crash Bandicoot trilogy,
Right.
because instead of hiding Stormy Ascent behind GameShark code, they hid it as DLC and just put it behind a paywall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you remember how far you got into Crash Bandicoot?
Well, for the remake trilogy, I'm only
Yeah.
playing the first Crash Bandicoot up to about the Neo Cortex's lab levels. So I've beaten the second Bridge to Nowhere level. That was the second hardest, if not the hardest level of the entire Crash Bandicoot trilogy. So
Okay. You're further than me because like one of the last levels I remember playing on the original Crash Bandicoot
yeah.
uh, was like the bridge to nowhere first, when you had to jump between these bridges, but like enemies would come at you trying to knock you off the bridge.
Especially that hog.
Hey, Miller time. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so the I was probably maybe like 10-15% through the first Crash Bandicoot. That
Okay.
was that's as far as I made it. And
Hmm.
like I made it to the second set of levels in Crash Bandicoot 2. I never played the third one, but I only have the first two Crash Bandicoots on my PS3. So, and I haven't played them in a long time because I get frustrated too easily.
Right.
Crash Bandicoot, I um, worse worse than when I play Mario 2 or 3 on stream. Um, Crash Bandicoot doesn't take as long for me to lose my temper.
Okay.
Miller time, did you know about the hidden level called Stormy Ascent in the first Crash Bandicoot? Uh,
Except Ron James, Triple J.
No, I was just waiting for Miller Time's response. Oh no, you never heard of that level. Okay, so it's a really difficult level. Um, but if you didn't, but if you, I am not very familiar with those. Okay, yeah, I'm not too familiar with them either. Like I said, as a matter of fact, the only reason I played Crash Bandicoot so much is because I transferred it to my PSP and I used to play it on my way to work and on my way home from work and on car trips, stuff like that. But Stormy Ascent, yeah, on one of the hardest levels in Crash Bandicoot, and now you can get it on the trilogy if you're willing to pay for the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Next, N64 games. This is weird. RGT85 said N64 games have been named as coming to the Wii U Virtual Console.
Really?
The Wii U has been basically hasn't really seen any activity since since Zelda Breath of the Wild came out as a double release on Switch and Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a couple of years ago.
That was like in 2017.
Almost 4 years ago. Now there's N64 games that are being added to the Wii U Virtual Console. Games like Banjo-Kazooie, games basically from Rare. RGT85X, is it possible that we could see Rare Replay, which is a collection of Rare's games, on the Switch? Do you think Rare Replay will be making it to the Switch?
It'll be interesting because I heard that the Wii U shop is shut down, so it's kind of confusing to most average gamers who wants to buy certain games that are available on certain consoles or certain services.
Well, I haven't checked recently. I did check earlier in 2020, and the Wii U shop was still, the Wii U Virtual Console was still running.
Okay.
It was the original Wii's Virtual Console that shut down.
Oh, okay, no problem.
But the Wii, I'm actually been thinking about getting on the Wii U's Virtual Console, buy some Super Nintendo games before the shop does get shut down. Although I haven't heard any announcements about them planning to do that. And it sounds like if N64 games were just added, like Banjo-Kazooie and others, maybe they're going to keep the Wii U Virtual Console up for a while.
Really?
What was that?
Sorry about that. I clicked on it by mistake.
Oh. I thought it was like your phone's ringtone or something.
Oh no, not even close. My ringtone is more of a Super Saiyan / it's over 9,000. It's over 9,000.
You do not have a singing voice.
I know. Sorry about that, people.
But actually, Rare Replay has come out on other consoles. Have you ever played Rare Replay, like on the Xbox One?
Yes, I have. I played it for a couple of times. They had Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, I believe. Some other games from like 1980s and 90s. So that was pretty good.
That's right, Perfect Dark. I forgot. That's another game I was trying to remember that they created. And
I believe some people are still playing it to this day. The Rare Replay.
Yeah, because those not many people have their N64s hooked up, so they just get Rare Replay like on their Xbox One or if it's on a Sony console, and they play those old games from Rare that they like so much.
Oh yeah.
But do you see it being released on Switch possibly, like in 2021?
Well, the Switch has been out for over 3 years, about 4 years now, so they have to put it on their on the shop, on the Nintendo Switch shop. Otherwise, if they were planning on shutting down the Wii U store, like 2 years ago, as for what I heard, or something like
That was
2020.
that was like the original Wii that they were planning.
Okay, no, okay, that's why because I haven't played any Nintendo games or Nintendo systems in years. So, my last system I played was Nintendo 64 for the
Yeah, so you
Nintendo.
never
That
played
is,
GameCube or anything after that.
yeah, pretty much. I did play. I tried the Days of Reckoning, WWE Days of Reckoning, for as a demo at the local Toys R Us store before they
Okay.
changed everything. So
What'd you think of it?
it was all right. I like Christian as my favorite wrestler at the time. Being paler, you go to sleep or whatever. Well, that's actually CM Punk. Sorry about that.
But actually, I played the one time I played a WWF game on GameCube was also at Toys R Us.
Nice.
It was WrestleMania 18, and what I liked was they had a mode called Battle for the Belts. You pick I picked Championship 34. They had 75 championships. Every 25 was the cutoff for a different difficulty. I could only challenge for championships 26 through 50. So I picked title 34, just rarely. And all of a sudden, my first match is against Hollywood Hulk Hogan in a no disqualification match.
Nice.
I'm like, this is awesome. This is, little did I know at the time that if I had won that match, I would have had another match and another match, kind of like the towers in the 2K games nowadays.
I see.
Yeah. So that's the only time I've actually played a WWF GameCube game. Was at Toys R Us. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if people are going to be seeing where we play on the Switch, just to finish this topic up, because what would be the point? What do you think would be the point of releasing Where We Play on the Switch, but then releasing the N64 games to the N64 Virtual Console on the Wii U as well?
Probably.
Do you think that would just...
Well, probably because of the fact that the people on the Wii U console still play the Wii U and can only afford certain games. While if it's on the Switch, it's slightly more expensive, and the ones who can afford the full edition or the full package can buy it at one time. So they try to break up the brackets of income brackets, so who can buy what for how much at one console.
Okay. My guess is if they're putting it on the Wii U Virtual Console, those are going to be to entice people who just like one or two different games from Rare. Like, if you only cared about Perfect Dark, if you only cared about Banjo-Kazooie and you didn't want to play the other 25 games that Rare made, you just want to play the couple of games that you're familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
That's who the Virtual Console releases are going to be for. And Where We Play on the Switch will be for people who have the Switch, who want to try out everything that they didn't try out previously. That's what I think is they're trying to hit the market who wants everything, and they're trying to get the market who would just want one or two games from that collection.
Okay.
But then again, I also have to say, with the Wii U Virtual Console, how many people, as much as I'm going to make purchases I never did before, how many people are going to have their Wii U to try out? Because, when the Switch came out, a lot of people packed up their Wii U and sold it to GameStop to get some money down on the Switch coming out.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, the Wii U played Wii games, so... if some people packed up the Wii, they're like, well, I got Wii games that I still like to play. I'm going to keep the Wii U around to play those Wii games.
Okay.
Also, I've just read on GameInformer.com, did you see that they're rebooting the Resident Evil movies?
What?
Yes.
The live action or some of the CGI?
I couldn't tell, The only screenshot I had, it looked like CGI, but some people were saying that some people were comparing it to live action films. But apparently, they just finished filming the reboot of the Resident Evil movie, and it's going to be coming out sometime like the fall of 2021.
Oh wow. let's
Do
hope it's
you
a let's hope it's a CGI, but this time it includes most of the characters from the first three Resident Evil movies. First three
well,
Resident Evil games. Sorry,
well, they
games.
said that the first Resident that this reboot is going to it's going to be trying to capture the feeling of the first two games.
Okay.
So so it's going to be survival, probably a survival horror movie. It's going to be and it's going to be inspired by the first two games, but still no. I could only find one screenshot, and I couldn't tell if it was CGI or if it was live action.
Can you send me a copy of that picture or a link to me?
I'll Yeah, I'll send you that article after we're done tonight.
Of course, yeah.
But I mean, did you watch the Resident Evil movies,
I
either live
watched
action or CGI?
I watched the CGI movie series, the Damnation, Regeneration, and Vendetta. Have it all on DVDs, and I have to say, Vendetta is the best one out of all three of them because it includes Chris Redfield, Rebecca Chambers, first time in many years, and Leon S. Kennedy.
Okay.
Has a couple new
Uh,
characters and a terrorist that's known for being on the list of the FBI or the president's most wanted list, some shit like that.
Okay. And I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil movies, the live action ones.
Oh yeah.
Uh, In my feeling, like the best movies were the second, third, and fourth: Apocalypse, Extinction, and Afterlife. After Afterlife, I feel like that's where they kind of peaked. They got as good as they were gonna get. Because what was that? What was that fifth one called? 'Cause I know the sixth was called The Final Chapter.
Retribution.
Retribution. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like Retribution and The Final Chapter just it wasn't as good.
Of course not.
Even though I'll admit I have a crush on Ellie Lauder and she did come back in The Final Chapter, it just after Afterlife, it started its downward descent.
Yes. It didn't make any sense. The only time it makes sense is to like your average movie watcher. That's about it because they never played Resident Evil at all, most likely. So and that's about it, really.
Well, I didn't say it didn't make sense. It just wasn't as good. I mean, I own all six movies on Blu-ray,
Okay.
and I showed them to my cousin, and he said that Extinction. I even asked him after showing them all six, uh, what was your favorite? And he's like, Extinction and Afterlife were the best.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
so, yeah, but anyway, this Resident Evil reboot, I don't know what it's going to be. I just hope it's good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I hated the way they ended the final chapter, so I wouldn't mind if it was live action, but come on. Are you going if it's a reboot, any of the main actors from the original are you going to bring back?
Definitely.
If I watch a live action and I see like a whole new cast, I'm not gonna be interested.
Well, it's called a reboot for a certain reason, meaning that it might be new characters, new casts, new storyline.
New storyline is fine, but keep in mind the last movie was made like I think 2017. The final chapter wasn't that old.
Yeah, 2016 actually was released in theaters.
It's just a few years, and it's okay. So 2016, yeah. So that was only like five. Well, we're in 2021, so that was only 5 years ago.
Yep.
And I think And I think, and it's just gonna be, again, I hated the way that movie ended, but do, I, I don't want to see, a whole new cast of playing the Stars team because you know what's gonna happen if they bring back someone else to play Alice, if they bring back someone else to play Jill, Chris, Claire. Everyone's going to be comparing the old cast to the new cast, and people are probably going to be missing the old cast.
Oh well, let's admit one thing though. Before all this reboot shit, excuse my language, all the reboot stuff, the best Resident Evil live action has to be Apocalypse. So if they can
Really?
bring back, yeah, if not Apocalypse, is it Apocalypse or the Resident Evil 2 and 3 in the city type of situation? Am I right?
Yeah, Apocalypse was in Raccoon City. Extinction was like when the whole world was like desert.
Yeah. So I'm right. So basically, if they can bring back that old feeling of Resident Evil to like that Apocalypse, then I'll be
Yeah.
satisfied. It doesn't matter who's in the movie, as long as it's accurate and to the point, and it's good to watch.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the CGI movies, I never gave a chance, and if it's a CGI reboot, I'm just kind of saying, why did you write this? Did you put yourself in a corner, creative wise, where you had to reboot the franchise? You couldn't just add another sequel.
Yeah, like Resident Evil Cantankerous or some shit like that. I use an SAT word or some shit.
Right. But I guess we'll see as we find out more about the Resident Evil reboot.
Definitely.
We're gonna have to wait to see it at least until a trailer comes out before.
It should
Um,
have been come out with a trailer by now, at least a teaser trailer.
well, they say filming just wrapped up, so
Okay.
yeah, so like that's why they said that the release of the movie is going to be in fall of 2021.
All
So
right.
we still got pretty much a year, which sounds accurate for post production issues, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, the did you hear about the issues with the PlayStation 5 controller breaking?
Yeah, I'm hearing it from various YouTube gamers saying that they're either it's them having problems with that controller or they know someone else has problems with that controller and it keeps breaking or the late not the latency the drawback of the trigger buttons don't really match up properly and they just keep frictionizing and something of that sort. I can't explain the actual wording of the controllers work and the back portion of the controller, but it's something like that on the PS2 controllers, something like that where it keeps sticking or a sticky fingers, want to call it. So I said that feeling.
Okay. Honestly, well, Sony's dropped the quality control in that department on their controllers. Um, but was the PlayStation 5 controller really that different from the PlayStation 4 controller? It didn't look really that different when you put them side by side.
It looked less advanced the PS5 controller.
Yeah, and but then again, I remember when Darkness the Curse was with us, they said the PlayStation 5 controller would not work on the PlayStation 4, but it would work like on PS3 and Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I actually listened to that podcast not too long ago, and your response to that was, "You can't fix stupid." So, really, the PS5, they're probably doing better than Xbox Series X because they got a whole bunch of games right out the bat. They had a whole, their library of games on release was a lot more than any other console had.
Right.
Like the N64, when the N64 came out, you had two choices of games. You had Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64
Hmm.
on launch day. That was it. PlayStation 5 obviously learned from that lesson. They only had backwards compatibility for I think PS4 games,
Right.
which I thought was a missed opportunity. But um, you're doing all the other things right besides going all the way with backwards compatibility, and now your controllers are messing up and basically breaking.
If they have a second generation of consoles being made, I'm sure by then they'll fix the controller part, at least that. But if they can do a PS5 Pro by 2022, the earliest, they can fully backwards compatible with PS4, and then they'll have a big jump in sales and competition over the Xbox Series X. Because let's face it, the PlayStation system altogether from PS1 through PS5 had the best exclusives, while Xbox is best in services like the what's it called, Spotify, Quibi, freaking
Game
YouTube
Pass,
and stuff
Games
like.
with Gold.
Yeah, Game Pass app and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So basically, it's like a back and forth thing. So they can bring back the old roots of what PlayStation was supposed to be. I would buy a PS5 by 2022, no matter what.
I wouldn't be so I wouldn't be so against the PlayStation 5. Although some of the things I heard, like you have to install and you have to take the console apart to put a bigger hard drive in if you want to increase your hard drive memory, or if they had a dashboard for bowel movement. Um,
Wait, dashboard for
where
bowel movement? You mean Black Lives Matter?
yes,
What do you mean for Black Lives? I don't get. Can you elaborate on that matter? What's that about?
on Facebook they basically had a dashboard that was like a salute to Black Lives Matter.
Oh, like for Apex Legends, what they're saying Black Lives Matter and Call of
No,
Duty
no,
and stuff like that.
no. Like on the dashboard, like on the dashboard before you get into a game,
Yeah.
the thing that had like the screen that had all the options, like the background was black, and then yellow letters on the like bottom right was Black Lives Matter.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I said in the Facebook post, I didn't need another reason not to buy a PlayStation 5, but thank you for giving me one.
Yeah, and too much emphasis on Black Lives Matter. If you're not gonna contribute to the community or move into communities like I live in Jamaica, Queens, people, and let me tell you something. 20 years ago was it was hell on earth because of the post Reaganomics and things that matter. So it's gotten better now with crime for the last several months, if not years. It's just that the community is not as together or not thoroughly efficient as other towns and parts of New York City. Depends on where you go. So if you really want to contribute, you should at least move in, put money into the community, or just donate to our local charity, Project Hope Charities, as one example where I live. So that type of stuff. So it's like if people could do that, that would be great. Sorry to go off topic, but that's what I'm thinking of. Like I hate people when they say, "Oh, they're for Black Lives Matter," but they don't contribute a dime. Money talks. So
Yeah. Well, also a lot of people from Black Lives Matter don't have money because they don't have jobs.
tell me about it. I know that feeling of not being jobless because the cells. I'll repeat myself again. The cells of the Black Lives Matter. I can understand where they come from. They're poor or they can't find work. At one point they were working well, but then all of a sudden the economic lockdown with the COVID-19 that affected them. So I understand they're protested and their means of throwing out the trash with the politicians in a way. But the leadership is iffy. It's questionable.
Yeah,
So
but the thing is, I mean, I have no problem discussing this for a while because, like I said, we didn't have that many topics to discuss anyway. One problem with bowel movement and I'm going to continue referring to them as that, is because they they say they're against one thing, but then they vote for the politics that is supposed to be what they're fighting against.
Yes.
It's like if you wanted to say you were against Nazis, then you wanted to vote for Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, which is it?
They're supposed to vote for the Communist Party, at least that. If they can support parties like the Communist Party, and they're making good backing on that party, making it more efficient and more exposure than as much as the Democrat and Republican Party, all is well, right? But people are being selfish with the communist agenda because they're not living up to that shareable moments or being shared resources. So
right, they claim that socialism would be so great because if everyone shares, but then they don't want to share anything they have either.
Ridiculous.
I mean, and I've also talked to someone who was a bowel movement supporter, and and basically he's gone completely insane. Because I would say, okay, justify this and this, and he couldn't, and he'd just go, you just want to start trouble. And I'm like, no, I'm giving you the opportunity to explain this, and you can't. And he goes, you just want to start trouble.
Right.
Like one time, he said about how hard it is for people to come in the country legally from like Africa because they need so much African money to come in because their currency is not worth much.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and I asked this bowel movement supporter, I'm like, okay, what would you change then? What would you do to make things easier then? And his response to me was, what would you do? I'm like, I wouldn't change anything, but I don't have a problem with it. I go, you're the one who has a problem with it. What would you change? What would you fix? And he couldn't answer that.
It was all based on emotions, and that's what the media does.
Yeah. And I mean, and you know, as long as they keep saying that college should be free for all blacks, and all black people should be paid a livable wage regardless of job, as long as that's the kind of stuff you're fighting for, you look like the bad guy.
Because you segregated a certain group of people from others.
Right. You're saying because of your skin color, you should be paid more. And it's like, if I said that about white people, I would be called a racist.
Oh yeah.
Just because you're saying it about blacks doesn't make you a racist. You're the same thing. You're just saying it about a different group of people.
Pretty much.
And they just don't realize how they contradict themselves like that.
We may be different parts of fruits, like you may be orange and I be apple, but we're still classified as fruit. So pretty much, it's just in reversal matters. So.
Right. Like everyone, like I don't really. Yeah, it's just saying like, oh, the oranges should be treated like in a 5-star facility, and apples can go to any slaughterhouse to be processed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, how's that fair? Anyway, moving on.
Definitely.
Oh, I only got a couple more things to talk about. The Kentucky Fried Chicken console.
Yes. If I was very wealthy, let's say for example, we made 6 figures based on our income for all of this YouTube, internet fame, exposure, things that matter, and you know we have like a budget of, let's say, I don't know, $250 to spend money for fast food or something like that. I would buy the KFC console just to hold my chicken in there while playing GTA 5 or Tomb Raider: The Lost Shadows, whatever it's called.
Well, you would have to play something that was accessible on Windows.
Oh, okay. Like Little Nightmares, because Little Nightmares is free on Xbox, while it's like $6 on Steam. So.
Well, I mean, from what I heard, the KFC console is going to be it's going to have a Windows 10 operating system.
Okay.
So anything you could play on Windows 10 that we could play on our computers, you would be able to play on the console.
Right.
Thing is, haven't seen a controller, so I don't know how you're going to play those games. And really, I wouldn't recommend someone putting fried chicken in a console.
Well, it's a compartment specifically for fried chicken to be warmed, be kept warm and stuff. I think it's
Yeah,
a good
but the
idea.
thing is, I mean, unless that compartment is like sealed off from like the mechanics inside the console,
I'm sure it is.
I hope so. I just see like crumbs and grease. I mean, have you ever like eaten something greasy?
Crumbs and grease, yeah. I forgot about that part.
Have you ever eaten something greasy and then like use your computer and then like and then try to like type something or use your computer in some way and then like all the buttons are like sticky or
Oh yeah. Oh, plenty of times when I was younger.
I ate something greasy. I had it on a paper plate and like I put it on top of my keyboard and then like my laptop keyboard started acting all erratically because like grease had gotten like into the keyboard.
Yeah, all that grease and gunk and
It went through the plate into and I thought it messed up my keyboard. I shook my laptop around trying to find the compartment that held the battery in place, and I couldn't. But then when I put my computer back down, lifted the monitor up, and restarted my computer, it was fine. I was like, oh, good. I don't have to, because this was like 3 months after I had gotten it.
Okay.
I had put the plate on my keyboard, and like the mouse cursor started moving by itself. I was like, and it was just so hard to do anything on my computer because the buttons, the mouse especially, had grease under it, which was basically making it do something else.
Interesting.
I'm surprised that just closing my laptop and flipping it around, failing to find the compartment that had the battery, like flipping my laptop around. I'm surprised that solved the problem. Yeah. So anyway, the KFC console. It's like a disaster. It's like an oncoming car crash.
It's not that much of a car crash. This is more of a Joe Biden's in-car type of rally. You know, you're in your car at Joe Biden's rally type of way. Convenient and all, but you know, it's all right.
But the thing is, Windows 10. If anyone was going to play games off Windows 10, they could do that right now. But to heat up fried chicken, you're going to have to make sure that the crumbs and grease don't get into the mechanics or any other part of the system. And then there's the price point of this system, $3,000.
That chicken better give me some fucking 5 years of lifespan.
Yeah, $3,000 for the KFC system, and it's like, you could buy an actual quality gaming laptop with that amount of money.
Unless you eat fried chicken. Unless you eat fried. Go on.
And then you could spend the leftover money on a microwave to heat up fried chicken.
Unless you want the cool version of heat up chicken.
Because it's not like the KFC console, it makes the chicken, it just keeps chicken warm.
I know.
So, there's also things called microwaves. They've been around for years.
Decades even.
And
it's for rich people. I guarantee it's for rich people.
I could see people who have lots of money to spend or lots of disposable income, which is not that many people right now. But if they have the money, I could see them buying this just to have like on display as a collector's item.
And to have fried chicken at like 3 o'clock in the morning if they had no microwave.
If you don't. Well, I mean, I don't. I could see someone like putting it on a shelf like as a novelty. So like 20, 30 years later, you know, it's a conversation piece. But
Oh yeah,
I just don't see someone using it for what it offers because it doesn't offer anything that you can't get anywhere else.
definitely.
And like I said, gaming laptops, sometimes you can find like quality gaming laptops for like $1,000. Microwaves, you could probably find them for like dollars. You're not even at halfway of the cost of the KFC console yet.
Mm.
And I mean, if it's going to be just a Windows 10 operating system inside, computers have that nowadays.
Especially the Xbox One.
Yeah, you and me both have Windows 10 right now on our computers.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it's like, what is the KFC console going to offer in terms of entertainment that you can't get anywhere else?
Just the chicken part. That's about it. That's all they care about.
Yeah, I love KFC. Colonel Sanders definitely a great entrepreneur. He had plenty of jobs before he created Kentucky Fried Chicken. But like I said, I don't see this being any more than a novelty.
Oh yeah.
And with that being said, I got another e-commerce story coming up, and this one just happened. So the one I had planned for this podcast will be pushed back to the next one. Okay. So I discussed that I was finishing up my sales on eBay and I was going to move off eBay and start selling records and stuff on other platforms. And I'm still doing that. So I finished the last auctions I had on eBay. This guy paid 80 cents plus shipping for a record that he won the auction on.
Okay.
Fine. So now what I did for these auctions and for like the items in my last days on eBay, I put up stock photos, which is fine. Anyone can put a stock photo if they don't want to take the time to take the actual picture, especially if your picture is going to be low quality. You would rather have a high quality stock picture to attract people.
Right.
And you know, if people usually can tell the difference between a stock photo and a regular picture. But anyway, so I sent the guy this record. I put it in a size 7 bubble mailer. It's a normal like 12-inch record. And I put 2 ounces of paper in front of the record, 2 ounces of paper behind the record as like an extra cushion.
Definitely.
The record gets delivered, and the guy he first sends a picture, and he says he sends a picture, okay, with the record, with some of the circulars I put in as paper, and he goes, I didn't include any protection for the record. But some of the papers that I packed in made it into the photo. And this guy is criticizing me for saying I don't know how to pack records correctly. I don't know how to, and I just lost it. I told the guy, I was like, listen, you're a liar. Everything you said is wrong because you said I didn't put papers in to protect the record, which we could see in your photo that I did. Basically the guy, I'm like, and basically the guy was harassing me with no reason. Basically, it turns out the guy was harassing me because he was bored.
How you don't know he was bored?
He told me. I actually should pull up these emails, and actually, so I can, so I'm not taking him out of context. I'm not taking me out of context. So I'm gonna pull up these records. I'm gonna pull up these messages and then we can see. Let's see, because what this guy was, I mean, this guy was basically saying, let's see, uh,
Funny, funny,
uh,
funny.
okay, so maybe I'll just go to eBay. Maybe they'll have the whole conversation there. Um, okay, I got the whole conversation. First, he sent me like a photo of how the records were packed with one word question, with a one word remark. He goes, "Really?" with a bunch of question marks. So I go, "What?" He goes, quote, "If you shipped it with no sleeve or packaging in a loose bag, I've received records and pizza boxes that were packed better than this. If you can't afford to ship it properly, don't do this for a living." I reply, "I shipped it with paper to prevent the record from moving. Funny, I shipped other records the same way and those customers had no problem. How do you explain that?" He replies back, "That I can't explain." I go, "And you say I shipped the record loose with no packaging, but a lot of the paper that I used as packaging ended up in the photo you sent. Can you explain that?" His reply was, "Dude, you suck at this." So my message after that was, "Wow, you must have nothing going on in your life to continue messaging me to let me know I suck. Again, no other complaints when other records were packaged the same way, except from you. What does that tell you?" He replies back, and this is where he admits he was bored. He goes, "No, I don't have anything going on. There's a pandemic. I'm a stagehand. No work since March. Only have my music to console me. I love my music. I respect my music. 80 cents, $600, don't matter. Given enough time, you'll get more complaints." I go, says, he goes, so I replied to that, "I've been selling records since 2016. Also, thanks for the positive feedback. You're so smart that despite your comments you left the feedback on positive instead of picking negative, so eBay read your feedback as positive." I go, "Also, everyone is suffering from this worldwide pandemic. You're still a loser for finding entertainment at someone else's expense. That last message of yours showed what a scumbag you are. Next time you are thinking of purchasing something from me, I will end up refunding you immediately. I normally block you on here now, but I'm branching out to different platforms anyway, so good day, loser." He goes, "I did that to be nice," basically leaving his feedback as positive instead of negative. I go, "Sure you did." He goes, "I'm just glad you didn't blow up. Sorry you got bent ass shape when I criticized your packaging. In the future, just consider a paper inner sleeve the bare minimum, especially since the original ad showed the outer sleeve and I got neither." And I said, a paper sleeve, inner paper sleeve is going to be a lot less protective than 2 ounces of paper on each side of the record. An inner paper sleeve is going to be one sheet of paper. That's not going to protect anything.
Funny.
And then he says, and then I go, you never heard of a stock photo?" And I don't know if he responded back to me. Actually, he didn't. But I responded to him right before going live on the podcast. But wow, because he was out of work since March, he had nothing better to do than harass sellers he purchased things from.
It's like that with most younger adults. They've been doing that for quite some time now. One example, my friend not enjoy game per se, but some of his friends would like to act racist on Xbox Live. So I muted him for the second time, and I told him I'm not going to talk to the guy anymore because he acts like a racist. And everyone in the group told me, "Oh, he was just joking, Charles. He was just joking." I was like, "How you talking about racism for 2 years straight? How you being racist for 2 years straight?"
2 years straight. But
yeah, it's been 2 years. The guy called me nigger every time, called me piece of shit. Excuse my language, the N word and stuff like that.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
But, Some people just don't have a life, and I can't believe I actually got this guy to admit that he had no life. But it's not my fault that he's been out of work since March, and harassing me is not going to change his situation. But like I said, from now on, anytime someone buys something, I'm going to make sure it's not him that purchased it, because PayPal keeps records of everyone,
right?
Their real name, their address, and everything. I'm going to make sure that every sale I make from now on, he wasn't the customer, and if he does turn out to be the customer, I'm going to refund him and say buy it from someone else.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I blocked people on eBay before, and but this guy, since he's pissed me off so much, and he was doing it just to get his jollies, as some people would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Yeah. So I'm never gonna sell to this guy again, because even if he pays, I'm just gonna go to PayPal and reverse and give him a full refund.
Yeah, those kind of the customer or not, those some people I try to avoid as much as possible if they want to start trouble, just for the sake of starting trouble because of out of boredom or whatever. I don't have time for that stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to do business, and he wants to argue, and but every argument has been proven wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, he can't even, when he leaves me negative feedback on eBay, he couldn't even click negative.
Tell me about it.
And that guy wants this guy. Really, this has also been going on for like the last few days.
Oh, definitely.
This hasn't been like a one-day thing. This has been going on for like almost a week now.
So, yeah, just ignore him. Block him, ignore him.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm just never gonna sell. I'm never gonna authorize another sale to him. And
this wasn't like this.
If he responds to me on eBay again, I probably will just block him.
It wasn't like this back in the day with eBay, like 10, 15 years ago. I've been selling on eBay as a seller since 2004, 2005. And I never got that kind of bullshit. Excuse my language.
Do you have any stories as a seller on eBay?
Most of my experiences as a seller are okay, but as a user on eBay, they're very anal right now at the time, because back in 2016, 2015, they blocked me from buying or selling eBay products because of my profile was deemed too violent or terroristic activities because I have collections of what I own and swords and magazines, things that matter. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they sell swords on eBay at the time. Like you buy a little katana sword.
I wouldn't be surprised if they still sell swords now.
I bought a carbon steel sword for about $35-$40, and I was like, it's not much, but it's something to collect, I like the color blue and the white with it, so still have it to this day. But I want to get a real katana sword for about I think like $150-$200 somewhere, and I saved it in my my listing, my one of those wish lists, and after a few months, eBay told me that we have to cut you off from not buying or selling because of your activity on eBay being a terroristic or offensive or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, what's the point of you buying and selling on eBay of swords, of weapons, things that you can buy on there if you allow it to happen? You allow your product to be sold on eBay for $250 for a sword, or maybe like ninja sticks, whatever it's called, ninja sticks called them, for $100, So nunchucks, nunchucks.
So that's based. So but like I said, wow, that's pretty ridiculous, because you weren't even the one selling the weapons. You were interested in buying them. if anything, eBay should have taken down the seller that was selling those things.
I even bought a Firearms Collection CD where you download it from the CD from the computer, rip it off, and look at the weapons you want to buy, or rip off what weapons you want to select from for future reference, like the 9mm, and go break it down to this XM4 and all these weapons from God knows when and where. I still have it to this day. That's the same account I bought it from back 5 years ago, if not 10 years ago. So these people at eBay are becoming snowflakes now. Even Spotify, as one example, like they wouldn't let Joe Rogan talk about with Alex Jones with his conspiracy theories, because the Spotify workers are offended now by Joe Rogan's podcasts. Like that's another example. Like what the hell?
Just the pussification of America, I say.
They're like, oh my God, he's talking about weapons and nuclear weapons and things that matter. Oh my God, they're terrorists. Let's label them as terrorists. Same thing with eBay back 5 years ago. Oh sure, things have definitely changed now. They clean up eBay. But 5-10 years ago, I was able to buy anything I want. A game, a weapon, well, not literally like a gun or whatever, but like a replica of a weapon, a replica of a gun, a replica of a sword, any of that sort. A replica of magazines. Magazines like that of not Jugs, but like Ebony magazines, something like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So that's ridiculous. I didn't even start using eBay till 2012, so I didn't know anything about this. Before then, I was strictly just on Amazon.
Right. Yeah, Amazon definitely changes a lot too. I was able to buy a Switchblade. Now they cut that out for most of its listings. So
they might be doing that because they don't want to be liable if someone does use those weapons.
Too late. They sold millions of that shit over the years.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, eBay only keeps a record of like what you purchased over the last 3 years.
You sure about that? Because I can backtrack to 2005 what I bought.
Well, through eBay, if you go, if I sign into eBay and I click purchase history,
yes,
it will only show me. It will only go as far back as 3 years. You'll have to go back to like PayPal, through PayPal or something else to find. And even PayPal only goes back so far.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind. I'm sorry about that. I thought you were talking about Amazon, because with Amazon I could go back to 2005 to see my first purchase.
Amazon, I can go back to like 2006, 2007.
Oh yes, definitely.
Like I think one of those years was when I made my first purchase.
That's why I want to buy my pay-per-view, my wrestling, my WWE pay-per-view wrestling collection.
Yeah, I was collecting the Supernatural season box set seasons DVDs from Amazon, and where I got like season 2 through 8 was like Amazon.
Okay. All right.
And of course, season 1 was a gift from my mom.
Okay.
And my ex never returned season 5 when she broke up with me.
Right.
But I barely watch DVDs now anyway. I don't know why. I guess
the computer took over everything. The digital market took over everything. Now you can download Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for about $44 or $45 on sale right now. Instead of going to buy it online or buy it in person at the GameStop for $60, $65.
Right. And speaking of GameStop, they didn't even have really too much of a sale going on.
Right now?
After Christmas. They had one before Christmas, but that was only like a few hundred items that were on sale. And when you take all these different consoles into effect, a lot of the games I was interested in weren't on sale. The only deal they had was Borderlands 3, but like they had that for like $8.99. So I was like, okay, this I'm gonna get because I really like Borderlands 3. That's I want to play that all the way through.
Right.
Um, on Twitch sometime. And then when you factor in shipping and tax, it jumped up to $14. I'm like, wait a minute, someone like on eBay is like offering it for $10, $11 free shipping. This isn't a deal.
Right.
But then again, Microsoft had their sale price of Borderlands 3 was $19.79.
That's a good deal.
I was not really when other places are offering it for $8, $10, $11, $12.
If you want to get it for the Xbox One, that is,
Well, yeah, people were selling the Xbox One version of Borderlands 3 for like half that price.
But this version or the digital version?
This version.
Well, the digital version, I can understand them increasing the prices and selling that, to the higher bidder, which I will admit I could be one of those guys, because when I buy digital games, ranging from Call of Duty to low ending games like Little Nightmares or King of Fighters '94 even. The King of Fighters '94 was like $8 on Microsoft Store. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, King of Fighters '94 is a very old game, guys. It's a fighting game for 3 versus 3 elimination. So.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm gonna be getting. I want to get the 2 Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, the first 2, because I never finished either of them. So I found I can get them for extremely cheap if I get the PS2 version, which is the one I had before anyway.
Right.
So I'll take what I can get for cheap if it means getting the PS2 version. I was going to get like 360 version and or the PS3 version so I could play it online.
Yeah.
And let people join in my game, but you know what? If it means getting it for like a lot cheaper, I'll get the PS2 version instead. Those are the versions I originally had anyway. So.
Right.
But I want to get that, and then I'm gonna go on. I want to go on the Wii U Virtual Console and get games like Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, maybe some of the Donkey Kong Country games. Get those on Virtual Console so I could play those right off my Wii U.
Okay.
And then if I got money left over, I'll get like Scarface for PS2 because my copy's scratched.
Dude, I want to get Scarface for PS2. It costs so much money.
What?
Scarface for PS2, brand new, costs so much money. Asking like $75 for it.
I wouldn't get it brand new. I would get it used.
Me personally, I got the Bouncer brand new for $90 for my stimulus check. So once the next stimulus check comes around, I'm gonna buy Scarface. So it's either one or the other. And I decided to get the Bouncer first.
Did you see Scarface the movie?
Oh yeah, I got it on DVD and Blu-ray most likely.
Okay, so you have this. Okay, it's just because the game picks up where the movie left off. So if you played the game without watching the movie, you would kind of be confused on.
Yeah, you have to be a Scarface lover, at least that.
Not really. You just have to watch the movie first. Because when my boss at M&M Chimney let me borrow the game, he let me borrow his father's copy of the movie.
Okay.
And he's like, dude, watch the movie first so you understand. So when the game starts, you understand the story. And yeah, the game picks up literally where the movie left off.
But you usually get like more out of the fanatics of Scarface fans, because in my neighborhood, like back 10, 15 years ago, we used to not look up to Scarface really like a hero, but we admire that movie Scarface to the point of buying the T-shirts, the underground T-shirts, the underground unofficial T-shirts of Scarface with Al Pacino as Tony Montana. I think it's a matter. So it's like, it was.
Tony Montana was. Oh, never mind. Go on.
Yeah, Tony Montana is the character in Scarface. Yeah. So we get like T-shirts that like of Tony Montana, and then the Scarface logo, the Scarface black and white finishing on the T-shirts.
So bootlegs basically.
Yeah, these are and they look legitimate T-shirts like you get at like a actual store like Jimmy Jazz or something. But you have to buy them from the street vendors first, and then work
Okay.
your way up to there. Because I couldn't fit them at the time because I was too big. But if they sell, if I can find a street vendor that sells them for about for my size, that'd be great. But obviously that's hard to find these days.
Right.
Because there's been more
Yeah.
restrictions on clothing lines. Like Bloomberg, between Bloomberg and de Blasio, they cracked down on many things. The mini motorcycles, the ATVs in the streets. Now the clothing lines, you can copy verbatim of these movie copyright matters, DMCA, that type of stuff. So it sucks, but you know, that was back then.
Right.
You can still
Okay.
find
So
them. You can still find some T-shirts, but it's on the down low. You have to literally look on the ground, like at street levels type of stuff. So
yeah, you're not gonna find it on eBay or anything.
no, it's gonna be too obvious.
Okay, so this is where we're going to end things. This has been episode 11 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Our next episode will be on January 16th at 9 p.m. We're going to try to start at 9 p.m. Eastern. And me and Dr. Games 101 will join you, will be with you then.
Alrighty.
Anything else you wanted to add before we end the podcast?
No, not really at this time. Thanks again.
All right, so for Dr. Games 101, I'm Triple J. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.